I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V. And a very Merry Christmas to you if you celebrate, and a very Merry Monday to you if you don't. For a lot of people, Christmas is a little bit of a stressful time. Even if we really enjoy Christmas, it can be a stressful time. And so I thought today I would talk about that a little bit. But first, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of the people that would like to be celebrating Christmas today but have to work instead. Most of the people that are doing that are doing jobs that keep the rest of us safe through our festivities. And so I'm really, really grateful for those people. I'm talking people that work in the hospital, firefighters, all those sorts of people that can't take Christmas Day off because they're busy looking after the rest of us. Really appreciate you guys. You are awesome. For those of us who are not working, who are celebrating Christmas, sometimes we can find it a little bit difficult, can't we? Christmas isn't actually the easiest holiday for a lot of us. There is such a lot of emphasis, especially in advertising, on the importance of having people that you love around you on Christmas. And so if you do spend Christmas Day alone, that can feel really much more lonely than spending any other day alone. But really, it is just a day in December. It doesn't matter if we're alone today, but the social pressure makes it feel like it really, really matters if we're alone today. And I think that must be very difficult for people. So if you were not alone today, but you know that somebody is, maybe make an effort to reach out to them today, because it's difficult feeling excluded like that. Nobody likes to feel like they're not part of something that everyone else is. That's horrible. It is just the one day though. It's just a day in December. And so if you are feeling lonely and rotten today, remember, it is just one day. You are going to get through this one day, and then it's a whole year before you need to worry about it again. And maybe over the course of that year, you can change something about your relationship with the day to make it easier. For the day, we're just going to focus on taking great big deep breaths and getting through just today. Because this time next week, it'll all be over and done with. Nothing to worry about anymore. There are lots and lots of ways, of course, that you can cheer yourself up if you are feeling lonely and miserable this Christmas. I've got loads of self-care type videos. Most of them are completely free things that you can do to feel better about yourself. And I would strongly recommend that you go and look at those. But also, you know, you're on YouTube right now, so go and have a browse around YouTube. Find lots of free things that you can do that's going to make yourself feel better, even on a day when all of the shops and things are shut. And spend some time with yourself, spend some time nurturing yourself. You are part of a family, even if that is just a family of one. You are just as important as everybody else. Your family matters just as much as everyone else's, even if you are a family of just one person. I've said it before in lots of my other videos. The important thing to remember is that for the rest of your life, you need to have a relationship with yourself. You are the one person that will guaranteed be there with you until the day you die. And so it's really important that you nurture that relationship first anyway. So if you are feeling lonely today, I challenge you to come up with a whole day of self-love and self-care to help look after yourself. And of course, it's important to remember that Christmas isn't just a time for families and loved ones. The food is really, really important as well. I actually believe that we have a psychological need to have a big feast in the winter, that we need to put glittery, shiny things up, reflect some light because it's the dark part of the year. It's our way of reminding ourselves that the spring and the summer is going to come again. And then there's also the fact of we've got some cold, dark, miserable months ahead of us. And for some reason, we're all going to be socially pressuring each other to eat better and lose weight and all that stuff in just a week's time for no reason whatsoever. Worst time of year to do it. And so it's really, really important that we eat all the things that we really, really like now. Get that layer of padding down to keep us warm through the winter, to protect our bones if we fall over on the ice, all those sorts of things. It's really important to tuck into a really good, decent, warming, comforting meal at this time of year, I think. And so even if you are just on your own today, you can still make Christmas all about pigging out for the day, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Now, at risk of coining the term Christmas privilege, quite a lot of us are very, very lucky at Christmas and don't realise how lucky we are. I've already touched on loneliness. Lots and lots of people are lonely at this time of year. And so if you're with your family, even if you don't like them very much, somebody else might think that you're really, really lucky for having that time with your family. But there are lots of other ways that Christmas can affect people, and there's lots of ways that you can be a good host to prevent triggering things happening to your guests over Christmas. So, for example, with food, there is a whole minefield around food when it comes to being a host during the holidays. You will obviously have different food preferences and different food needs to cater for. I've got somebody visiting who is vegan and gluten-free and oil-free, which is a challenge. You might have people visiting that have got a very different palate to yours, that have got very different food needs to yours. And it is important to cater for those people without making them feel like they are being awkward, because if they feel like they are making your day more difficult, then they don't feel welcome. They feel excluded, even if you are spending that day with them. So that's important. Obviously, it goes without saying that you don't give somebody an ingredient that you know that they don't eat, because that is just such a violation of their control over themselves, and it's not okay at all. But there are also things that you might not know about somebody that can affect how they interact with food. You may not know that somebody has an eating disorder, that they're trying to recover, that they only have a few safe foods to eat. You might not know that somebody is autistic and has sensory issues around food, and there's certain foods that they just can't eat, even if you really insist that they try it. There will definitely be people that you don't know have a problem with alcohol, and so you shouldn't be pushing alcohol on anybody. It's fine to offer somebody an alcoholic drink, obviously, but if they say no thank you, that's the end of the conversation about alcohol. You offer them something else. I don't really drink very often. I'm not teetotal. I do drink occasionally, but I don't drink very often. And I found that, especially around newer people, they really try and push alcohol onto me. It's an important part of Christmas culture. But for me, I didn't want to drink alcohol. Now, it wouldn't have made much of a difference to my life in general if you had persuaded me and I had taken that drink. But for somebody else, that might ruin their life. If somebody says no thank you to alcohol, we're just going to leave it there and offer them a lemonade or something instead. Obviously, it's Christmas. We all want to show off our happy families and our lovely gifts and things like that. But it's probably worth being mindful of what we're sharing and with whom. If you know you have a friend who literally has no money, maybe don't be flashing about your expensive designer gift in front of them and talking about how much that makes you feel loved, because then they're going to feel inadequate about the box of chocolates or whatever that they bought for you. Similarly, if somebody has made you a gift, spent time on a gift for you, and it's not something that you would like, maybe check yourself and realise that at least they thought of you, and it might all be the only thing that they could afford to give you, but they wanted to show you that they care. So we'd be grateful for the gift, even if it's not something that we would have chosen for ourselves. I would also say about funny gifts. Me and my family love a funny gift, but if you are not sure that the person is going to take it in the spirit that you mean it, maybe just don't risk getting them a funny gift. In our household, that's part of our love language, but I wouldn't buy somebody outside of our family a joke gift unless I knew them very, very well, because not everybody takes these things in the same sort of way, and they may feel insulted by something that somebody else might find really, really hilarious. So I'd just be careful about where you pitch your gifts, and also be careful about maybe lavishing gifts on a friend who hasn't got the means to do that back for you. And because then you're going to just make them feel small and awkward, and that's not what anybody wants to give somebody for Christmas. So that was just a quick sort of couple of ideas of how to be a sensitive host on Christmas, and I wanted to quickly thank people that are working on Christmas. But for my people who are lonely on Christmas, last year I did a whole lot of things that I linked to on Twitter, join in and all those sorts of things where you could find some community on Christmas Day. But Twitter has changed a lot over the last year, and there's not as much of that around, I don't think. And quite a lot of people have left Twitter as well. If I remember, I'll try and put a community post up so that if you want somewhere to chat, you've got that at least. Yeah, I would strongly recommend if you're spending today alone and you're sad about it, that you spend an entire day indulging yourself in self-care. Eat all of your favourite foods, use all of your expensive skincare, watch all of your favourite movies. Don't do anything today that you don't definitely want to do. Don't do anything out of any obligation today, because even if we're alone, you still deserve to have your day where we tell the winter to bugger off. We eat all of the food and we get a nice layer of padding ready for the winter. And remember, it is just the one day. We're going to get through the one day. And tomorrow is just another Tuesday. Join me next Monday for my next vlog. It is going to be on New Year's Eve, so I'm probably going to be talking about goal setting and stuff like that, even though I think pants to New Year's resolutions, you're all awesome just the way you are and you don't need to change anything at all. If you're insistent on trying to change things, I at least want to give you some techniques to make that easier for you, so I'll be back then. But if you can't wait until next Monday to see me again, I understand, pretty awesome. I will be here every single morning in your shorts, letting you know what I'm grateful for, taking a great big deep breath to start your day. I will also be here on a Witchy Wednesday doing an intuitive card read for you. And I want to say that I'll be here for Terrarium Tuesday, but I think I'm probably just going to do a big Terrarium Tuesday recap when Dave is a year old, because he very nearly is. And then we'll leave it at that, because I just keep forgetting that Terrarium Tuesday exists. I will see you next Monday, but until then, you have yourself a magical week.